So I have returned once again for the third time today to actually do the next anime that's returning this season, that one being 3 月のライオン. So yes, we have returned for episode 12 of it, and I'm very excited. Sorry I actually was away for about 45 minutes, just my throat was literally on the verge of destroying itself. I need about at least a half an hour just to calm down, but I feared that I just might lose my voice. God, and the voice on bloody YouTube's just gone a bit automatic, so which is just great, isn't it? Good old YouTube. Right, go to Crunchyroll. I haven't loaded up the page yet. I'm so ahead of time, aren't I? That's how I always do things. Christ. 25 minutes full as well. Wow. I haven't seen that since ReZero. Well, not full 25 minutes because it's got the opening and ending, but it's 25 minutes. ReZero, eat your heart out. Right, okay. I might drink a lot of water. I might drink a lot of water during this, otherwise I will probably lose my voice. So, okay. So in 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, new openings in this episode as well. I just realised because I watched it already. Is every single 3 guts who've been 25 minutes? So I've never noticed it. Holy crap! I've never actually noticed it. It's one of those things I just never noticed. Now you just made me go, oh god, you're right. Damn. I've been blind. The very blind person I've been, not realizing that sooner. Oh god, Rohan's back. I think the visuals in this opening are phenomenal. Yeah, the visuals are like, man. It's Arima as well. He's back. Because I could have sworn Arima was in the ending, but I just might have got it wrong. I remember Arima being somewhere. I was like, oh my god, Arima, he's returned. He beat Death and actually went to 3 guts in a lion instead. That's what I quite love about it. He died in Tokyo Ghoul and went to 3 guts in a lion instead. Kind of like, yeah. Which reminds me, I still need to read Tokyo Ghoul at one point. I actually have 5 seconds to myself. I just probably just marathon way through it. Chapter 24, what lies on the opposite shore? Damn, now I'm hungry. Great. It's only 5 o'clock over here in England. Even though now his actual room is lighter than it was before, it's still kind of desolate and lonely as well. It's a problem. It's very much light and like kind of less dark, but it's just still as lonely as before. Ooh, the shaft head tilt. Well, the shaft head turn with dramaticness. So head tilt is a head turn of dramaticness. is that just like subtly telling you that he's become more like kind of well, I can't say the word now, assertive in the world? He's like kind of awoken a bit, tiny bit. Maybe not. I thought the subtle noises might have just told him that he might have just woken his senses up in the world and actually become a bit more alive to it and actually realize what's going on around him. Oh god, she's not coming back, is she? This isn't like subtly telling me that someone might just come back which we don't want to see, but always going to be there. Things are juxtaposed in that anime. Someone better gets introduced. Oh, okay, all right. That sounds interesting. Well, that was depressing, wasn't it? When you think about it, Kyrie's house is basically escapism in its purest form. Derry feels at ease and feels away from everything else. I always like that shot as well of the of him black and white. It's such an amazing shot. It's a good turkey. His voice sounds very familiar. God, it's a voice I know very fondly. I cannot figure it out. I quite like that. I quite like the fact they brought back the motif of the cats with Shogi. I think it's one of the best additions they could have done, but they still keep it going, which is actually kind of neat. It's not abandoned. Holy crap! All right, Shaft. To get it, we know you're good. But then the old RPG thing as well. It's amazing. Oh, yeah. I know who it is now. I know it. I now know it's Thief from Drifters. Yeah, I know. I now I know who it is. It's the main character from Drifters. Did you actually mention that name? I knew straight away it's the guy from Drifters. It's Dungeon. I like the fact they kept that motif as well, the old RPG motif. I get to hear Gintoke twice. Gintoke. Gintoke. I can't say his name now. Twice in the space of one day. Holy crap. Roar just then. Man. Oh, it's her boyfriend, I imagine. Is it her boyfriend? Yeah, it is him. I thought so. Jesus Christ. And again, and again, and again, they managed to actually kind of juxtapose the anime so perfectly just then as well. And again. Like, it just a show knows how to perfectly juxtapose really, really, really like kind of grave events with quite like uplifting, kind of more happy and more funny events, like perfectly. It never feels like it's out of left field. It always feels like it actually is genuine. The actual kind of transition. Because sometimes I will just randomly just like throw in some comedy, like you sitting there going, "What are you doing?" Here it's kind of fine. Here it's completely fine. Never once do I ever say anything against it. The chairman is pretty great. I mean, even then, it kind of just shows you the kind of size difference between him and the world. Like, in him just like perfectly being centered into that one little pillar, kind of just shows you how small he is compared to the world around him. And kind of how he feels inferior towards it. It's kind of neat. It's kind of a little, tiny little visual nod. I like the sound effects have voice as well. Like everything in this world really has a voice. It makes it more alive. Yeah, honestly, I actually quite like the fact they've gone for Zetsubo Sensei with the SFX because it makes it just more alive. It kind of doesn't make the world just seem like it's just an ordinary world. It makes it just more alive towards everyone that's watching it. That's what I quite like about it. Any single nod they can do to make it more alive, make it a bit more kind of, I don't know, make it seem less dead, then it's kind of all right. And the SFXs do it perfectly. Also, the cats do it as well. The cats do it perfectly as well. It literally is food porn in disguise. It's that one sequel to Kofuku Graffiti we didn't need, but we actually could add it exists. That's what I kind of see it as. It's that Kofuku Graffiti sequel. As about cats. Why would you deny Momo? She's too cute to deny. You can't say no. Can't say no. You're roped in. You're straight away. You kind of just can't. You can't get out now. Momo's just too adorable. No, very quick. You can't solve jigsaw puzzle and the with a toddler and a 14-year-old girl get arrested. True. True. Such sad times. All right, stop breaking my heart slowly, okay? You're doing it. It's like it's breaking my heart and slowly mending it at the exact same time, like constantly. It never gives me a break. Never. Oh dang. Oh my god, that shot was amazing. Damn, son. Damn, son. Damn. It's like the show is just too good. The show is literally just too good. Never once ever lets itself go. It's always constantly just go woo. It puts other animes to shame. It's like I never had this for two. It's like it's just last year was pretty good for two core anime shows. Like certain ones are pretty good, other ones are kind of like. But I mean, goddamn, Ness and ReZero is just like top tier two core shows. Oh, and Gintama as well, but technically started the year before, so I can't technically give it the award. And the ED's pretty good as well. I quite like the ED. Got my eyes are burning up. Whew, that was painful. It's got a different style about it. I actually quite like it. It's differentiating itself from the opening, which actually is pretty neat. Because I think that the opening and ending last season basically exactly the same. Like you couldn't really differentiate them between each other. Granted, the other certain shots were a bit more stylistic, but for the most part they were quite similar. But now it's kind of just differentiating itself completely. Like you can see the opening ending completely different. It's also apparently that's the dude who drew Monogatari as well. I think it was pretty neat as well. Like the ED is done by the dude who ED end card thingy is done by the dude who drew Monogatari. I was like, okay, because Reddit tells me those things. Oh my god, my back! Oh, I just got off my back, just died. That's painful. That's really painful. Oh, I'm getting old. I'm getting older than my age. I'm like 20 years old, and I feel like a 50-year-old. I thought so. I thought when I read it, I thought, oh yeah. The ending card is amazing. They always are. I think the best one beforehand was the one that was done by the guy who did Berserk. That was an amazing ED card. Granted, that was the very first one, but still. Oh god. There we are. Clicked it. Back. I'm back into the land of living. Right. So, yeah. I quite like where it's going. I quite like the idea of how this show is playing out now, because now we're having a more formidable foe, not just our good old foster sister who was kind of a bit of a douchebag. Well, not a bit of a douchebag, she was a massive douchebag, so that's the point. But now we actually have the other person as well, the kind of other link to it as well, which is kind of going to be very, 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 very exciting to watch, because he has now determination. Like in essence, beforehand, you could see there was determination in his eyes. Like he kind of had that sometimes, but now he kind of has that determination that he doesn't want to be that punch bag for his like shogi match. He doesn't want to be that person. He wants to get beyond that, being that person. He wants to actually kind of win. He's got to do everything in his power to win that kind of fight. So he actually has determination. So it's something we truly haven't seen from him before. I actually quite like it, because when you think about it, the characters that get introduced kind of do impact him kind of sort of in I would say a mildly positive way, because don't get me wrong, once his foster sister comes back, he kind of gets reminded of all the past things that happened to him, which are kind of awful. But at the same time, those people are there. When they come back, they're there to make him grow, and that's actually what I quite like about it. Because now I think his match with Goto, if it does happen, I think it will actually kind of make him to be a better person for the future. I think it will then ignite his kind of, I would say, flair to actually kind of do shogi more, kind of, I guess, seriously. Like, just not kind of take it a bit more lax, because don't get me wrong, he does take it seriously, but the motif he kind of gives you is kind of a bit more lax than usual. Just kind of drive him forward, actually kind of have that extra edge. I think that's what, excuse me, that's what I quite like about him being there, because yeah, don't get me wrong, dude's a douchebag, but I think he's very much needed. I think he's needed for this show, for this very section of the show, because I think sometimes certain things happen in shows that characters will get introduced, you kind of sit there going, why would they introduce? They don't really need to be there. But he's vital to Ray's character, I think. I think if he manages to beat Ray, it's a little bit of a stepping stone for him to improve for the future, to actually become a better person. So very much, I like him being introduced here. I like him being introduced straight away in the second core, because it just sets up everything else in between, sets up the quite emotional kind of back in this actual core I have, and everything else in between. It kind of just gives you more perspective. We get a lot of information in this episode on him and Kyoko. Yeah, that was the one thing I kind of got interested. I can't say the word now. Interested about, because he calls her the stalker girl, like as if, because she says she loves him and everything else in between, but he calls her a stalker girl. So it's kind of like, what's really going on in that relationship? It's kind of not what you think it is at first, which actually is kind of interesting, because it's something that I didn't expect. But once he actually tells you, it kind of tells you a lot more about them that we've never got before. One sentence opened up so much more about their characters and their relationship that it kind of really put in perspective certain things. Yeah, he really is a complete douchebag. He's a horrible person. Like, and I would never have kind of doubted Ray to go over and punch him because he deserved it at that point. To kind of say that about someone, you just don't say it right there and then. Like, as if Gintoki was there to actually kind of take him back and say, "Don't do it," but if he wasn't there, freaking hell, he would have gone over there and punched him like really freaking hard. Because God, I think he deserved it. I think he deserved that punch. I think Ray should have turned to the side time at that point, just one punched him. Also, don't know if you caught it, but it said that he married his wife He's married and his wife is in hospital. Is that the chairman? Oh no, that's not the chairman. It must be Goto. Sorry, yeah. So the chairman, I think the chairman said it, and I think was it directed towards Goto? I think it was. That's interesting as well. So I'm guessing now. I guess Kyoko really just is someone who's hanging on to a relationship, and it's very much she can't anymore because it's not there anymore. She just literally is a stalker. That's it. So it's someone on the side. Literally, is what she is, which is kind of depressing when you think about it. Because yeah, we don't like Kyoko too much because she does do bad things to him. Okay, that makes sense then. I thought so. I knew as a chairman said it, but I never whether or not the chairman was directing it towards him or it was himself. But yeah, but the problem is, at the same time, bad things have happened to Kyoko as well, which kind of then twists her character ever so slightly, because then we feel this area of sympathy. It kind of humanizes a demonized character, which actually is kind of cool. Because certain shows don't tend to do that. And once the shows do that, is what I quite like about them. Christ, my dog's barking. Which is actually what I quite like. I quite like the fact when they do these things. Like, I think... I don't know, it's fine, don't worry. I was going to say... Hold on, I'll be right back. Need some help, Data? Ah, dang it. Anyway. Whew. God, that was a crisis averted section of my life. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, but I mean, the same thing happens. Like, it demonizes a humanized character. Whew, okay. I'll get my breath back. But I think at the same time, without spoiling too much, I think Goto can be compared to Kira from Diamond and Unbreakable, sort of. As a whole thing. Yeah, I see what you mean. I can immediately see what you mean with his character. He kind of has that persona about him as well. But his and Kyoko and Ray for that matter situation is a bit too complicated. Yeah, I don't know. I think as time goes on, we probably will get a lot more information about them, what really did go down, what's really going down there, because it has to kind of tell us, because there is quite a bit going on there, like very much. There's quite some, like, I don't know what to say, like, kind of quite heavy things is what the word I'm looking for. Seems to be quite heavy things going on behind closed doors, and it kind of is more interesting because Kyoko didn't really kind of hint at it. She kind of just hinted the fact that she loved him and everything else in between, and kind of how she got this present, but did she get that present from him? That's the question now, because it kind of then opens up these whole entire things. What did she get that present from him, or did she not? Did she kind of do something else? I'm not too sure, but I don't know. It's interesting now because it kind of puts in perspective these characters and what they've done and everything else. So I'm not too sure, which actually is kind of interesting to think about it. I don't know. I kind of like how it's all playing out, because it raises more questions that I think the anime will answer by the end of it, and kind of just give us some subtle hints towards what really did happen. It's not kind of raising all these questions and saying, okay, look, that's your load, you won't get any more of this, because it will hint at them, it will come back to them, and it will actually kind of explain them, which actually is kind of neat. And also the fact is, I still quite like the motif of the escapism that the actual house of Akari actually possesses for Ray, because Ray goes there and he feels warm and cozy, he feels like at home. Once he kind of goes back into reality, he kind of remembers everything else that kind of he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to kind of be there, because if he does, then he puts in on his like deep kind of sadness, and it's kind of depressing when you think about it. Like Akari's house very much is that place that he can escape to for a little while to actually kind of get away from things, which actually is kind of neat, because it's something that happens in real life as well. We all have those things that in our lives which tends to kind of allow us to escape, allow us to kind of get away from things for a little while. And I think it's actually kind of neat that it's personified in a house with people who really care about him. Also, Ray still has an A-class opponent in front of him right now before Goto. He can't underestimate him now. He's blinded by pursuit of revenge, serious match. That's the problem, because I maintain now it's the fact that there's determination in his eyes now. Like, he won't give up. He has to go back and study now, because he will study hard as well. It's not the only thing. He's going to go back and study really freaking hard, because the person that's in front of him, he has to kind of beat. He has to kind of beat that person and actually go and beat Goto as well. He has to do it. Like, he can't say no now. He can't back down. He has to go forward and actually beat Goto, which actually is kind of neat, because we're getting that determination that we wanted. That's what I actually quite like about him being there. Yes, he's a douchebag. He's a complete arsehole. He should not be there, because he deserves to be on a different separate planet full of arseholes. But at the same time, him being there has reignited his kind of drive, his kind of determination, which actually is the most freaking neat thing, the whole entire thing. So yeah, all in all, pretty good episode. I'll not say pretty good episode. It's an amazing episode, a great episode of 3 guts in a line. So yes, with all that said, I have indeed been the driver. Do apologize for the kind of random intrusion things that happened today, and then the stream. Sorry, the background noise as well, and everything else. So if you have enjoyed the stream as a whole, and you do want to leave a like, then do leave a like, because indeed it does help me quite a bit. If you have enjoyed my content as a whole, and you do want to leave a like or sub, then do leave a sub, because indeed it does help me quite a bit. But until tomorrow with Gintama, that random idol show that has some political backing towards it. Siren, that period show, and I think that's it. Yeah, it is. So until tomorrow, those 4 animes. I shall see you guys later. Bye for now.